Stress is a state of worry or mental tension caused by difficult situation. Stress is a human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. Everyone experiences stress to some degree, whether in our health, work, or even when it comes to our family. Stress is how we react when we feel under pressure or threatened. It usually happens when we are in a situation that we don't feel we can manage or control. When we experience stress, it can be as an individual. For example, we have lots of responsibilities that you're struggling to manage. You're welcome to the program Insight Today. We'll be looking at stress in relation to festive periods and health issues leading to stress. I am Jumai Manson, and I have a guest who will be sharing her professional views. Ifeyinwa Irene Nwakwesi is a graduate of medicine from the University College Hospital, Ibadan. She practiced as a conventional medical doctor for some years and now practicing integrated health and style. You're welcome to Insight Today. Don't go anywhere. Insight Today will be back shortly. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today on Global Television. Now, I'm thinking of how we can actually manage stress when it comes to the festive periods, thinking of your festivity clothes, thinking of the chicken or the cow you need to, slaughter, thinking of food you need to prepare, thinking of traveling, forgetting the fact that January is around the corner, a time where most people go through a lot of stress, thinking of school fees, thinking of house rents, everything actually comes into play. And now, stress mechanism sets in, affecting our health in different dimensions. Some people actually break down. You will be surprised. Well, our doctor will be telling us whether truly stress can lead to inflammation. And yes, stress can lead to depression. Yes, it can. So now, how do we manage this stress mechanism? How do we go about it on our daily lives without giving ourselves unnecessary or unwanted stress? And yes, stress can also cause migraine. And that is why I have a professional who will be coming up. Well, she's trying to come up soon to tell us what this can actually mean when it comes to our health, leading to wealth, and of course our life. Now, most Nigerians find it hard to rest. Yes, resting. We find it hard to rest. We feel we have to be up and doing. Very important. Now, how do you as an individual try as much as possible to manage stress? Well, we have to leave it to the medical professional to tell us how stress can come about, lack of sleep, always on the move, not resting, moving from one place to another can actually lead to stress. And yet, for some of you saying, Jumai Manson, how about overthinking of issues? Oh yes, that can cause stress also. When you overthink and you worry, trying to do more than your capacity, yes, it can lead to stress. And that is why I will be joined by Dr. Ifeyinwa to just break it down to us how we can actually create a balance, rejuvenating ourselves and not going older than our age. Yes, and that is why this topic is a necessity, because the festive period is just around the corner. So we have to just break it down on how you can actually reduce stress, taking it easy, taking a breather and allowing things to just flow, and most importantly, not going outside your means. All right, now let's quickly go on a quick break. All right, Insight Today, we'll be back. You are welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today on Global Television. Yes, it is. And today we're looking at stress and, of course, you know, things that can coping mechanisms when it comes to stress. And I said I am joined by Mrs. Ifeyinwa. Yes, Irene Nwakwesi. She is a medical practitioner. And, of course, she will be breaking it down to us why stress is something we need to take very seriously. And you will be surprised your everyday up and doing is leading to stress. Yes, it is. From high blood pressure to all of those things that you will be shocked to even hear or know about. All right, now is Mrs. Ifeyinwa, are you here with us? Good afternoon, ma'am. Are you here? Oh, I think there's something wrong with the audio. I cannot hear Mrs. Ifeyinwa Nwakwesi. Doctor, are you here with us? Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Let's just quickly come back because I can barely hear her. So let's just quickly come back. I'm sure there's just a little bit of technical issues there, but I'm sure it's going to come into place. So still talking about stress while we try to get Mrs. Ifeyinwa back on. So now looking at stress is something that is very, very, will I say, why am I laughing at this? Because people don't take it seriously. And you'll be surprised how people just slump, fall down, and all of those things. Yes, it's actually due to stress. If you see yourself having intense headache, it's stress. And you see yourself overthinking issues, believe me, it's stress. And it can take a toll on one's health and, of course, take a toll on one's age. It can give you this age, not, you know, increasing your age unnecessarily. Stress is a no-brainer. It's a no-go area, so we have to take it easy. Mostly now that it has to do with the festivity, a lot of people out there just wonder and say to themselves, I have to do this. No, you do not have to go above your means. You can just set the pace within your means. Let's quickly go on a break and come back with the program Insight Today. All right, you are welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Inside Today on Global Television, talking about stress and coping mechanisms when it comes to stress. And like I said, I have a professional via phone, or like I say via Zoom, with me, no other person than Mrs. Ifeyinwa Nwakwesi. She is a medical practitioner, and like I've mentioned a lot of things about her, you know, talking about stress, she is in the best position because one is a professional, and yet I said she is a graduate of medicine from the University College Hospital Ibadan. She practiced as a conventional medical doctor for some years and now practicing integrative health and lifestyle. All right, Mrs. Ifeyinwa, you're welcome to Insight Today.
Good morning. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Insight Today. How are you doing today?
I am phenomenal, phenomenal.
You say that a lot. Even when we started talking, you keep saying you're phenomenal. Is there anything attached to that? Does it make you look younger? Because when someone said you're 70, I couldn't believe it. Like, wow.
Well, you know, you need to choose your identity. When I was younger, I had a lot of depression, stress-related life health challenges. And I said to myself, it is enough. I've got to go to a higher ground. I had to make a choice of an identity that I was working to becoming. And that's the woman I am today at about 30, 35, low energy, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Today at 70, my energy is like that of a younger person. I am phenomenally phenomenal, and I'm still on the journey to the wealthy place.
Oh wow, oh wow. That I can see. You are phenomenal, and you are amazing and very pretty as well. Now, looking at the topic at hand, I'm talking about stress and the coping mechanism. Can you just explain to us in layman words what stress is all about and what actually generates stress in a human being?
Well, I'll put it this way simply. Stress is a gift given to mankind by God to help us to respond to either physical, mental, emotional, environmental challenges in our lives. It's actually a gift. But stress is the ability to respond to whatever stimulus that comes to your life.
All right, Mrs. Ifeyinwa, I'm sorry. I will come back to you. Let me just quickly go on a quick break. We'll be back.
Okay.
Yes, wait. All right, you are welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, I am still joined by Mrs. Ifeyinwa. Apologies for that break in transmission. It was just due to technicalities beyond our control. But we are back now, and we are back and better. And like I said, I have a doctor in the studio with me, another person, that Mrs. Ifeyinwa Nwakwesi, who is a medical practitioner. And she practiced as a conventional medical doctor for some years, and now practicing integrative health and lifestyle. All right, Mrs. Ifeyinwa, you are welcome to Insight today. Again, welcome you again.
Thank you.
And I'm talking
Thank you very much.
Now, like I said, you are extremely young. You don't even look your age. You are 70. Like when I heard and I said to myself, I'm sure your picture is going to be on soon. So being 70 and being phenomenal, you are amazing for your age. Oh my goodness. 70, like really?
Thank you very much, Jemai. I've been on a journey.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
Now I'm wondering, now we're looking at stress and the coping mechanism. How did you manage to cope with stress? And explain to us what stress is and what actually graduates to stress.
Okay, I'd like to tell a little bit about my story.
Okay.
Can you see me on Zoom?
Yes, no, don't worry, we can see you, but go ahead, please.
Okay. All right then. Thank you. All right then. Thank you. So, is that I have to tell a little bit about my story. So that people can get an idea what stress can do to the human being. I got married. I graduated from the medical school. I became a mother. I became a wife. I had to support my husband in taking care of some of the needs of the family, and I was not proactive about my health. I was not managing my body in a balanced way. I was focusing on building my career, about making money, taking care of the children, and I was careless. I started having stress-related life health challenges. I had depression, I had panic attacks, I had anxiety, low energy. I was eating, I was not absorbing it. Those are the negative effects of stress. But stress is actually a good thing given to us by God to help us manage our life challenges. For instance, you are somewhere and a lion comes to attack you. You needed to get ready to run away. That is a stress response. The adrenaline needed to be released, and you needed to run away to save your life. But as soon as you did that, the stress response should calm down. But that's not.
All right, Mrs. Ifeyinwa, are you there with us? Right now, we are going to quickly go on a quick break, and then when we come back, we will continue with Dr. Ifeyinwa Nwakwesi. Don't go anywhere. Inside Today, we'll be back. Sorry. All right, you are welcome back, and of course, it's Inside Today. Miss Ifeyinwa, what were you saying again? How you have to cope with the coping mechanism?
Okay, I was actually trying to use my personal experience to explain to people what stress can cause to the body. I was a mother, a wife, a medical doctor, and a businesswoman all at the same time. And I was not proactive about managing my stress. Living a life, you've got to balance out your life. If you allow yourself to get so stressed out doing a particular thing, other areas of your life is going to suffer. So stress is actually a gift from God. But we human beings live a life that we experience stress in our brain round the clock. Many of us are negatively programmed. So even when we're working, we are stressing. Even when we are doing normal things, we are stressing. So our stress responses are usually like elevated for prolonged period of time. And that's when it becomes a challenge. Stress is actually good stress. It enables you to become more productive, more passionate, and get to accomplish tasks. But when you allow your stress to go on for too long without a relaxation modality, without telling your brain you've got to calm down, you've got to rest, you're not sleeping enough, it becomes distress. That's when it causes a lot of stress symptoms, and it causes a lot of ugly symptoms, and even it can cause heart attack and severe problems for the body. So stress is actually a good thing. If we manage our stresses very well, it's not going to become detrimental to our well-being. What I did at the time I was younger, I was not proactive about managing myself, and I had to go down before I said to myself, I can't stay this way, I'm going to die young. I had to do a turnaround, and that's why today I'm moving into a lifestyle medicine, which is critical to people's well-being and health.
All right, Mrs. Ifeyinwa, I want to ask a question. When you said there is good stress, that stress was given to us by God, but a lot of people go through it and they slump and they die. How can you balance it with what the economy we find ourselves? A lot of people during the festive period are overthinking a lot of issues. They have to do the Jonas rule that says you have to do everything at the same time. Some will travel even when they do not have the means, not forgetting about January when they have school fees, they have rent to pay, all of these things. How can we stop overthinking these sort of things when this is a day-to-day, life-to-life challenge for us as individuals? How can we cope with all of that for it not to even affect our health?
Jimmy, I'm going to answer this question this way. The human being is spiritual. We have a spiritual side of us. We have a mental and emotional. We have our physical bodies. We have our relationship and marriages. We have our financial status, and whether you are living your purpose. These are the things that influence the outcome of people's lives. What we do not do in this society is that we do not intentionally improve the different aspects of our lives, and so we suffer. For instance, in this society, we call ourselves Christians and Muslims. How many of us are living the Christian faith? When you are a true Christian and a true Muslim, you have faith. You're not going to be worrying yourself unnecessarily. You're just going to focus on accomplishing things. You're not going to be in a negative energy state, and you're able to manage your stress better. If you are also positively programmed, if you're the kind of person that has a positive attitude to life, you do not over-worry. You always see the glass as half full, not half empty. The chances are that as you're working, as you're actually trying to build your career or get money, you're not going to be putting yourself in a stressful mood. You can be happily achieving. That's what I do these days. I work, but I don't work with stress mindset. So stress is actually a perception. It starts from people's mindset. If you think stress, you become stressed. If you think positive, stress is not going to get so much out of you. Then the other thing is actually people's health. A lot of us have mineral and vitamin deficiencies. A lot of us are carrying around body dysfunctions. Those are the things that actually make you to become easily overwhelmed. Things that shouldn't overwhelm you become an issue for you. There's some people that are always in an inner agitation. They are always in inner aggravation. They are always frustrated. So when they speak, when they act, what you see is stress-related words. Again, our relationship and our marriages affect our lives. A lot of marriages and relationships are going sour. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And a stressful relationship and marriage is very toxic. It makes the person's stress level to be high. They get easily agitated. They are not good conflict managers. They don't escalate conflicts. At the littlest provocation, they are shouting. Again, if you don't have the finances to meet your needs, that's a stress factor. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to say, people have got to get stress awareness. You must understand what stress is. And that's why I do a lot of stress coaching. I do a lot of stress training for people to acquire stress coping skills, because stress is a silent killer. Almost every illness has a stress associated to it. 75% of chronic diseases have stress related to it. So stress is a topical issue for everybody in the society, the churches, the mosques, the organizations, leadership. A lot of our leaders are actually stressed out. I can tell just by looking at them. So these are some of my perspectives at this time. Thank you.
Now, listen. You have, ma'am, you have said a lot. Like you've mentioned marriage, you've mentioned finance, you've mentioned being in a positive environment. You have mentioned a lot. But how can one state that are happening? Looking at it now, this is the festivity. I keep hammering on it because I've seen a lot of people who are indebted because they have to impress family members, friends, and all of that. Some go as far as taking a loan that will cost them heartache. In Abuja 2 weeks ago, someone committed suicide because he couldn't pay up a debt. So that is a stress factor that can lead to ailments. And also, how can one cope with such a thing when you see what is happening in our society? The present day economy is not moving as it ought to, and so many things are happening. So how can one actually cope without being involved or getting stressed out or even being depressed?
Okay, let me answer this way. The society may predict, the culture may dictate, but only I, by God's given power of choice, decide what to do with myself. Nobody decides for you what you want to do with yourself. And as we learn, we go to school, we go to universities to get a degree. That is how people should learn about stress management, about living with a good character of inner contentment, inner peace, harmony. Nobody should dictate to you what you do. You live your life according to your status. A lot of us are living above our means, and I'm talking especially about young couples who live above their means. They want to live in Banana Island. I live in Lekki, and I'm comfortable in Lekki where I live. I know that if I'm trying to afford Banana Island, it's going to put me under stress. So I am just staying in my corner, happy. People have got to learn how to live within their means. You've got to learn how to choose, make empowering choices. Let me tell you something, Jumai. Many of our choices, I call them stupid choices. When you make stupid choices, what you get is stupid outcomes in your life. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to use a wrong word, but I want to keep it real. Many of us in this society, we are for social proof. We want to impress. People are going to go on social media. Everybody wants to be rich. You need to ask yourself, who are you? You've got to know who you are. You've got to be comfortable with your identity. You've got to be comfortable with who God made you to be. What you need to do is to accept where you are and then plan on improving yourself. Look for opportunities so you can grow from where you are to where you want to get to. You're not competing with anybody. These days, I walk into functions, I can wear one dress 10 times. I'm not owing anybody. By the way, let me just tell a little bit of this story. I went into a function. One lady said to me, Ifeyinwa, you've worn this blouse too many times. I said to her, mind your business. You can't come to my wardrobe and tell me what to choose. Before, I used to be into a lot of designer bag and shoes. These days, I'm more into passion and impact. And I can walk in anywhere with even a dress I've worn 5 times or 6 times. I don't owe anybody any apology. People have got to to become in a comfortable place in their inner being. Yes, Christmas is coming. What can you afford? What can you not afford? Why do you need to go and borrow money to impress anybody? Please, we need to modify your educational curriculum in Nigeria, so that we can begin teaching children and youth early enough, even universities, the growth mindset and integrative lifestyle. That is what can help people to make better choices, to know who they are, to live through Christian and Muslim lives so they can be that masterpiece created by God. All the stresses we are causing it for ourselves, though, it's not God that is giving it to us. God has answered all our prayers. God is not going to fall from heaven. It's us that will have to say, this thing I'm doing, is it building my life or is it destroying it? How can somebody make money, build career, then live a careless life and then go and slums and dies before the day? It's not God's promise in our lives. I'm not saying people shouldn't be dying, but what you make of your life becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's what I have to say for now.
Well, looking at it when it comes to stress, you're a medical practitioner, and we've learned from what I have, research has said that stress can actually cause inflammation, it can cause depression, it can cause heart failures, all of those. How true is all of that, Mrs. Ifeyinwa?
Well, I lived the life. When I was going through the stress, the stress aspect of my life, I had depression, I had panic attacks, and I wasn't even able to do anything. And it affected my eating habit. I never drank vegetable juices. I never drank fruit juices. I was eating mostly cooked food, morning, afternoon, night, and then I never drank water. Many of us are walking around with dehydrated cells. When the cells are not getting enough water because of the bottled water that is sold for us in the marketplace, they are mostly acidic, they are not alkaline, they are not mineralized, they are not antioxidant rich, they are not hydrogen infused, so they hardly get into the cells. People are drinking water, but their cells are dehydrated. When you eat, because the blood is acidic, listen to this. Your blood is supposed to be alkaline so that when you eat, you oxidize the food for energy. What we do when we eat this acidic food we eat, it becomes fermented. And a lot of digestive symptoms. That's why people go to the health shops to buy a lot of digestive aid, thinking it will help them. When the organisms in our body, for instance, it's called microflora, it's supposed to be protecting our body against infection, helping us to digest the foods. When they see a lot of undigested food, they begin to spew toxins. That's why in our intestines and in our digestive system, many people are loaded with toxins. And those toxins will seep through the intestinal wall, go to the organs and begin an inflammatory process. If it goes to the knee, it begins an inflammatory process. The person begins to have pain, redness, and they call it arthritis. Almost every chronic disease has inflammation and toxic overload as the root cause. That is why we are advocating that conventional medical system include integrative natural modalities into what they're doing, so we can get to the root of all the issues. Now, when you are eating food, but you're not getting minerals and vitamins. You're not absorbing it. So your mineral and vitamin deficiency is also causing you to be stressed. You get easily overwhelmed. You're in an agitated mood. So now, these adrenaline and hormones that are actually released during stress response, they are very good for allowing you to respond to stress. But when it's too prolonged, it begins, for instance, in the heart, it gives a constriction to the heart vessels. The heart vessels begin to be constricted, and the heart begins to pump against a lot of pressure. That's when people begin to have high blood pressure. Then, if it continues, it may actually impair oxygen supply to a part of the heart. If a part of the heart is not getting enough oxygen, that part of the heart dies. The person may have what is called transient ischemic attack or angina. I'm sure you've heard about angina.
Yes.
If it continues and actually happens in a larger part of the heart, the person may actually die. That's when somebody has a heart attack. So stress, and let me now say something. People that don't know how to manage their anger. During anger, adrenaline is released, extensive adrenaline is released. And if the person tends to get angry all the time, that is actually predisposing the person to a heart attack. And I'm warning everybody, anger management is a tool that you must acquire. I do a lot of training for people, and I'm telling everybody, get a training on stress management if you want to live long and enjoy the fruit of your labor.
So now looking at it, we can all see that stress is something that is very critical. And some of us don't take it really seriously. We still go about our day-to-day activities, giving our bodies much more than it can take and all of that. So how do we cope? How do we cope? Are there any stress mechanisms that we can cope with to help us relieve some sort of stress?
Okay, stress is actually your ability to cope with your demands. And it's a perception. I want to say this clearly. It is not the actual problem. It is your perception. So Epictetus said, men are disturbed by things, by their view of things, not by the things. Two people may have the same problem, but they react differently. And I read about a story where two 90-year-old women had the same challenge. One said, I'm going to die any moment. I started writing her will, started getting ready for death. The other one, Huda Cruz, climbed Mount Fuji, the oldest woman to climb Mount Fuji. So it is a question of perception. We may be exposed to the same stress level, but the way I handle it will be different from the way you handle it. So you need to check, manage your demands. Try and don't take on too many demands that you can't cope with. Then increase your coping abilities. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
you manage your demands, and because it's mostly a mental thing, you need to teach yourself mindset reprogramming. I teach it to a lot of people. That's what I had to do to go from that depressed woman to the woman I am today. Mindset reprogramming. Reprogram your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, so that whenever challenges occur, you are not overwhelmed. You are like resilient. You can cope with the challenges of life, because life comes with inevitable challenges. Then you've got to work on your demands. If you're setting up too many demands for yourself, oh, you want to go to this party, you want to go to this place, you go to several events, you don't rest. That's a bad habit. Oh, you at work, you do not prioritize, you do not delegate, you want to do everything yourself, you are overtasking yourself. Then you need to increase your coping abilities. How do you increase your coping abilities? I start with prayers, because it works for me. I'm a Christian, and praying into my body every day gives me the spiritual power and authority to actually overcome whatever challenges I'm having through the day. Secondly, I tell myself positive affirmations. I speak to my body. I say, Ifeyinwa, you're a masterpiece. You are for signs and wonders. And I am phenomenal. I say all those kind of things because I'm wiring myself for positivity. Then, of course, I do my exercises. I take walks. In the house, I have a treadmill. If you don't have a treadmill, you can go to walks. You need to drink the right water, because dehydration is bad. Then the food you eat, your body is 70 to 80% water. The body actually loves water-rich food more than the cooked food we eat every day. I'm not telling you not to eat cooked food, but make sure you include water-rich foods like vegetable and fruit juices. There are a lot of greens in the market, especially in Nigeria. You can blend and drink to make sure your blood is moving from acidic to alkaline. Then again, you need to know your body. What is your body lacking? Ordinary breathing exercises, oxygen. A lot of us lack oxygen in the lungs. So I can teach you breathing exercises. I can teach you some skills. Like there is a clapping exercises I teach people, which can open up the clogged vessels of the heart, because many of us are working alone with clogging of the vessels of the heart. Most of all, you learn how to smile. Don't take life too seriously, or be a problem. You see some people, they carry faces around as if something is real. They're going to die the next minute. If you ask them, how are you? They say, I'm managing. You'll be a manager for the rest of your life. Me, I've chosen to be happy. I've chosen to be energetic around the clock, and it's a mindset. So what am I talking about? Sometimes take a break. Lie on your couch and sleep for 10, 15 minutes in a day. But you know what I do? I walk for 2 hours. I must do a 1 or 2 minute revitalization exercise. That's my own pattern. I don't wait to get tired before I rejuvenate. So these are some of the things. And most of all, stress is in the brain. When you're working, don't allow yourself to be in an agitated mood working. You can actually happily work. That's the difference. Sometimes I wake up early. Sometimes I'm not able to sleep till about 7. I wake up at 4. I don't get agitated that I'm awake. I engage in something productive. That's when I begin to write. That's when I sometimes say my prayers. So the thing about this, and then get enough sleep. Some people don't sleep. Some people carry their problems to sleep. In the sleep, they're thinking about the money they didn't make, or a contract that failed,
yes,
or a man that is cheating on them. I'm keeping it real, Jemai, because I know what's happening in the society.
Oh,
and
yes.
let me say something. There's a lot of masquerading in this society. We need to get it right. We need to become more authentic. Let me stop here.
No, please. And now, looking at talking about coping mechanisms when it comes to stress, a lot of people are masquerading. Like, I like the word you use, the masquerading, because a lot of people are going through so much, and it's just piling stress upon stress upon stress. Now, looking at it carefully, you said, I read something about your profile. Your profile is very lengthy. I just grabbed what I could, because you speak to children, you're a marriage counselor, and a medical doctor at the same time. What does practicing integrative health and lifestyle, can you expatiate on what that really means?
Well, I can't talk about integrative lifestyle without talking about growth mindset.
Yes, growth mindset.
I'm a medical doctor, but today I am a growth mindset and integrative lifestyle specialist. Growth mindset is actually committing to consistent and continuous self-improvement, personal development. That's the greatest asset you can give to yourself. We go to school to learn how to become a doctor, how to become a lawyer, a makeup artist, a designer. We don't usually ask, what quality of human being are you? Who are you really? I don't really care about your external face. The beauty of the face without inner beauty, for me, is a challenge. If you have inner beauty and outer beauty, you can be an asset to wherever you are. So this growth mindset it enables you to continuously know that you have certain weaknesses. You identify them, you accept them, and you look for how to turn them into strengths. In Japan, that's the secret of the Japanese miracle. They're always improving themselves. You can't see a Japanese man the same tomorrow, today. They're always improving. So what's that lifestyle? The lifestyle is committing to a lifestyle of empowering choices. You wake up in the morning. What can you do that can kickstart your day? How can you live your life that your life can be a life of meaning and a life of impact? How can you take care of your body so you can have all the energy to keep accomplishing your dreams and aspirations? You can have all the dreams in this world. If you don't have the health, you're not going to be able to do nothing. So your relationship, how are you going to build it? Are you going to be using words to be tearing it down? Then when something happens, you begin to look for somebody to blame. So this lifestyle is an empowering lifestyle that enables you to continuously and consistently improve your life, your spiritual life, your mental and emotional life, your physical body, your relationship in your marriage, your financial needs, and then you know and live your purpose. You can be making money. If you are not living your purpose, you're not going to be fulfilled. So that you can actually be that masterpiece that God has made. Some of us are shortchanging ourselves by our lifestyle. Some of us are careless. We focus too much on money making and career building. We don't take our first things first, and it begins to suffer. You look at the relationship and marriage issues in the society. Many of our young people get married 1 year, 2, 3, 5 years, they don't want to do again. We are impatient, they're not accommodating. So I think, and I'm pleading with the leadership to include growth mindset and integrative lifestyle in our curriculum in the secondary school. It can even start from primary. That's why I'm also passionate about children. Children can learn how to be humble, to be kind, how to be polite right from early childhood. When you see a child that is well brought up, you don't need anybody to tell you.
And you know that is like a stress reliever. When you start early, you start young, it helps you to program yourself on how to relieve stress because you have a mindset and you're focused at the same time.
Correct.
All right, now still looking at it on how to cope with stress mechanism. Now, do you have a word or two for someone out there who is listening to you and saying to his or herself, but I've not bought shoes for Christmas. With the ones I have right now is one they used 2 years ago or last year. I have to travel. There is school fees I have to pay. There's house rent I need to pay. I'm going to be entertaining guests and family members, and I do not have money for that. And the thing is, I've not slept all day thinking about this sort of thing that leads to stress. What word or what advice will you give to that individual who is listening to you right now?
Okay, the advice I will give is there are a lot of, I'll put it this way, there's so much poverty in the land. A lot of people are hungry in this society. A lot of people can't even pay medical bills because the medical bills are very expensive. So what I'm advocating, and that's what I'm doing in my sphere of influence, there are some of us who are better placed than the others. Can you imagine the impact we can make if we pool resources together? And I'm not talking about big money. It could be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 on a monthly basis in an impact fund to take care of our sisters and brothers who are not as privileged as we are. I think that Nigerians need to begin to think about a big collaboration. I'm talking here about the women because I'm a woman. I run a women NGO called Women Aligned for Growth, a character rebuilding social change and impact female NGO. All we do there is how can we put smiles on the faces of others? And that's why we should also look at the community social support. I come from a place called Azobunike in Anambra. Why can't I collaborate with a few other women that are men and youths that are well placed, and let's keep taking care of people? I'm not trying to tell people to be lazy. The people that don't have money, they should also call their goods to their sides. If you don't be wanting to have everything because you don't have it. And then look for something you can start to do. Right now, I think I'm even getting interested in agro farming. I'm trying to teach a few women, widows, we're trying to teach women how to farm so they can become self-reliant. In Nigeria, we like to do big things. Everybody wants to do big. Nobody wants to start small. What people like that need to do is to see in their corner, is there anything they can start? But of course, the government, the leadership, they need to be more
proactive
passionate and empathic.
yes.
And proactive for this society. Nigeria is so blessed with enormous material and human resources. Nigeria should not be poor. Nigerians are blessed with a lot of land. What is the government doing? And that's what I keep saying to government. If you want to be a leader, please move away from I want to acquire. What are you doing with all the money? Have you seen anybody buried with money or property? It's time, if we're doing empowerment, let's keep our empowerment real. Let's not use our empowerment to be amassing illegal wealth for ourselves. And I'm telling women here, women, don't accept gifts that come from ill-gotten wealth anymore. You don't need it. At the last day, God will ask, what did you contribute where you were? What character did you exhibit? And I think that I'm still pushing for women to actually collaborate with our youth, with our children, to do more impact projects in Nigeria. Nigerians shouldn't be hungry. And I think that as we continue working together like this, we may be able to have a better society where we can put smiles on the faces of the less privileged and give hope to the hopeless and be a light to somebody in darkness.
I like the part where you said being a light to someone in darkness. Let's move away from that a bit and talk about the government and how the government should be proactive in reaching out to individuals, because there's so much poverty in the land, and that actually leads to stress, leads to so many deaths. You will be surprised that someone, there are so many people that commit suicide on a daily. There's so many people that commit a lot of crime on a daily because they are stressed out. They do not know any other means than what they do. So in your own words, advising your own opinion, what do you think the government can do? When you mentioned land and reaching out, but I feel the government can do much more to draw people, to give them a healthy and proactive lifestyle.
Yeah, Jemai, leadership is a skill. Leadership is a mindset, it's a spiritual calling. You don't just wake up in the morning and call yourself a leader because you went through a political exercise that sometimes in Nigeria are even flawed, and you call yourself a leader. A leader has qualities. A leader is spirit-filled, is positively programmed, and is empathic towards the people. So when he gets there, he may not have all the knowledge. A leader does not need to have all the knowledge, but he's interested in getting capable, competent people as advisors who know what it takes to change the narrative of a country. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of human resources. Are we tapping it? What we do in Nigeria is a lot of workshops. We have workshops in this country every day, seminars. What is the outcome of the seminars? There are many documents that we have in our wardrobes have been put away in shelves. We are not using it. I think that I'm calling the leadership to, first of all, make sure that we are encouraging people to live their best lives. Many of us are blessed with innate resources. Government can actually start with themselves. They need to show by example. They all need to be retrained. Listen to me. They need to be retrained to know what leadership is, to acquire leadership skills so that they can actually be able to put in place economic policies that can create wealth. Nigeria is blessed. There's no reason why Nigerians should be hungry like this. It is just lack of leadership, competent and capable leadership. Let me speak about our family friend, Dr. Alex Oti, who is leading Abia State. Go and see what is happening in Abia State. Alex Oti is prepared for leadership. He went there because he had a passion to salvage the people of Abia. He's already doing amazing things. We need many more leaders like Dr. Alex Oti. And I'm not trying to flatter him, I'm keeping it real. So what we need, I've actually decided I'm going to do a letter. I've decided, I took that decision yesterday. Women Aligned for Growth, we're going to do a letter to the present leadership. We're going to give them ideas. But let me tell you, Jumai, whether they're going to run with it or that is their business. All I know is that, again, let me say something here. You do not even need to be called the president of Nigeria to be able to impact. Jumai, are you listening to this conversation?
Yes, loud and clear.
You do not need to be president of a country or even a governor to impact lives.
True.
Where I am in my husband's house, JJ, I am living a life of passion and impact. That's what's driving me. Anywhere you are, you can be a leader. You can be touching lives. You can be a mentor to some of the young people that are struggling through their lives. You can be a woman and a man or youth of asset. Stop just living a life for yourself and your nuclear family. So leadership for me is just not about the people in the top. All of us, and so we need to increase the quality of our citizenship.
To relieve stress.
Make sure that we have more competent and capable leadership so we can rebuild Nigeria.
Yes, and of course...
We're actually in the process. Women Aligned for Growth is coming out with a strategy pretty soon. to that effect.
And also to relieve stress to various Nigerians. Thank you so much, Dr. Mrs. Ifeyinwa. I'm so happy to have you on the program. But of course, we know that Dr. Mrs. Ifeyinwa, she is a professional, and she is a graduate of medical medicine from the University College Hospital Ibadan. She practiced as a conventional medical doctor for some years, and now I'm practicing integrative health and lifestyle. Thank you so much for being a part of Insight today. I'm sure we're going to be having much more of you on the program. Thank you for being part of us today.
Thank you, Jemai, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And have a blessed. Are you healthy?
Yeah. Of course.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care. All right, now with that, of course, we heard what Mrs. Ifeyinwa said. She said a lot, and she actually gave a lot of examples about what is happening and what causes stress. And we need to have a fresh start. We need to take things easy. We need to relax. We need to think positive, and we need to stay within our means. That was one thing she said that actually grabbed my own attention. Many of us today do not stay within our means, and that is why we go through stress, and that is why we try to live above our means, trying to people please everyone else except ourselves. Let us try as much as possible, live within our means, and I'm sure have a positive vibe. Thank you all so much for being a part of Insight today. Join me every day of the week from Monday till Fridays. I am Jumai Manson. Have an amazing stress-free day ahead. Bye-bye.